Hey, and welcome to the Inclusive Networker Podcast, where we make network marketers, small business owners, and solopreneurs aware of blind spots that could be keeping their networks and businesses small. We give them tips and simple, practical tools to make their businesses more inclusive, and we teach our listeners how to build inclusive communities that support diverse customers, team members, and business partners. So, if you want to authentically build relationships with diverse communities of customers or business partners, you are in the right place. But be warned, you will be challenged, but here's the thing, you won't be judged. I'm your host, Dr. Raymona. I'm a speaker, coach, consultant, public health professor, wife, mom, and a fierce challenger of broken systems that keep people from reaching their highest potential. I'm so excited to be with you on your journey to becoming an inclusive networker. Let's jump right in. I am Dr. Raymona. I am your host, and I am so excited to have Helen Thacker as my guest. And so let me tell you a little bit about Helen before we get started. Here's a quote that Helen gave me. She says, "Things are changing in this industry. Thank goodness. I don't just want to be a part of it. I want to inspire it. I want to teach it. I want this to be a huge shift that stops network marketing from being a weird side mutation in the business world." I love that, Helen. And Helen has been a solo entrepreneur for 15 years, building six-figure businesses both inside and outside of the corporate world. She's been full-time in the network marketing industry since 2019 and continues to love reading and, I'm saying reading. Let me start that part over. So, team, cut that part. Been a solo entrepreneur for 15 years, building six-figure businesses both inside and outside of the corporate world. She's been full-time in the network marketing industry since March of 2019 and continues to love leading a growing global team. She has been both internationally and nationally recognized within her company. She's achieved the accolades of UK Top 10 for recruitment, UK First Place for sales, and is top 75 globally. She's passionate about helping women find the confidence to be themselves and to achieve success by being unapologetically ambitious. She is the host of the Millionaire Mindset Women podcast, a wife and mom to two amazing boys. When she's not at her desk, you'll either find her working out, planning the next foreign adventure, or enjoying amazing food and red wine. You can learn more about her on her Millionaire Mindset Women podcast and connect on Instagram at Helen Thacker. But we are going to find more about you right now, Helen. Helen, welcome. I'm so excited to have you, your star power, here to talk to our inclusive networker guest. So how are you today?
Oh, I am so good. I am, honestly, this is a huge honor. Thank you so much for asking me, Raymona. This is amazing. And that was a fantastic introduction. Thank you.
Yeah, no worries. Well, I am honored to have you today. And I'm just going to jump right in. And so tell us, Helen, a little bit about your business, the main problem that you solve for your customers and clients, so we can just get to know what you do a little bit.
Sure. So, yeah, you read that quote beautifully. Thank you. This is my passion. It is making network marketing a normal place and taking away some of the weirdness, some of the things that we're encouraged to do, some of the mindset that we are encouraged to adopt, and really kind of bring it back to business basics. Because I do believe that if we can all play our parts in that, it just means that the industry becomes more attractive to so many more people. We all grow, we all benefit. But specifically, my passions are helping women, like you said, with finding their true purpose, finding their confidence. You know, that comes from my own experience, and it's about really helping people with their social media, helping their content to be something that is not salesy. It's about giving value, and also helping business women who are in network marketing, who already have a really smart business head on them, to get even more wise and more savvy and look at other ways that they can create more streams of income that also help their existing network marketing businesses to grow. And I do all of those things just wrapped up really in empowering women and really helping this industry to be a great place to be.
Yes, I love that. I love the idea of empowering women and just helping us to reach our greatness. And that's one of the reasons that I'm doing this. And as you think about the work that you do, when you think of the term inclusive networker, what do you think are the top 3 characteristics of an inclusive networker?
Okay, so I have always had a really diverse team, friendship group, even, I've always had even from being a child, I've always grown up, thankfully, in a community. And with my kids now are also in a very diverse community of a diverse school. And I've always, always, always encouraged that. So I've brought that into my business. And I think that anybody in business, you have to be really open to understanding people's backgrounds, cultures, religious beliefs, and making sure that you are respectful of those things. So it's really about taking the time to kind of find out if you have someone joining your team or your business that has, they could be from a different country, they could have a different upbringing, they could have a different cultural background, religion. It's understanding what that might mean for them and how the actions that they can take might change because they might have certain restrictions or different ways of thinking. And it's about being it's educating yourself. And this is why I love what you're doing, because, so many more conversations like this need to happen. There needs to be so much more education. I'm ignorant to it. I don't know everything. I can't even, begin to understand what it's like to grow up in a different environment with a different culture. I've just got my own experiences. So it's about educating everybody into how it feels. I think it is understanding that from a business point of view as well. So, if you have somebody that needs to attend church, for example, on a Sunday, you're not going to expect them to be doing work activities or get-togethers. And it's just human respect. Yeah. And it comes back to empowering whoever it is within your business to enable them to show up in the way that they want to show up, that empowers them. And it is just human understanding and human connection. That's what this business is all about. It's networking. It's about building relationships. So, yeah.
Yeah. So I love what you just said about allowing people to show up authentically, right? Yeah. Who they are. And so when we think about network marketing, one of our jobs is to duplicate, right? Yeah. So a lot of times we try to duplicate ourselves, we duplicate systems, and we bring people on and we want the diversity, but then we have to duplicate these systems. And so I think that's one of the biggest struggles with being inclusive in network marketing or in business in general. It's, and you may not have the just total answer to this question, but what do you think are some of the things that we can do to help people to be authentically themselves while we're still duplicating, right, our systems and the things that we have to do in network marketing?
Yeah, it's a balance, isn't it? It's about having systems. You have to have systems in place, because I'm a huge believer in systems. I have that all set up for my own business. So when people come into the team, they can plug into that, and then they can teach their new team members to just plug into the same systems. But at the same time, it's having that underlying awareness of, are those systems right for that person coming into the team? And it's just stopping and thinking. So one of the things that I do when people join my team, we do an onboarding kind of getting to know you sort of type coaching call. And we go through the goal setting. We talk about what do they want to achieve from the business. We talk about themselves. We do a bit of a colour personality test so we can really get to know that person really a little bit more deeply, more quickly, because often you don't really know people when they're coming into the team. You don't always know them, and you certainly don't know them fully. So I take that time to just at the very beginning get to understand that person, talk about their family. I get them to fill in a Google document as well, which talks about the things they love to do, their family background, what's important to them, little things like, do they prefer gold or silver jewelry? What would they like to have as a gift when they, achieve something in their business? But having those things in place from the start allows you to get to know somebody. And from there, you can then really make those adjustments if you need to. Because as a leader, you need to make that person feel heard, make that person feel seen. And that is what it's all about. And that is empowering in itself. So it's just understanding who they are and doing that from the very start and treating people like people. That's, that's what it is. You're not, when we're recruiting, we talk about systems and numbers and going through the amount of activity that you need to do every single day to grow your business. But at the same time, every single person coming into your business is a person. It's not just a number. And that's what I encourage through the whole process of this industry. The conversations that you have, the way you onboard people, the way you treat people, with that respect, which will ultimately then empower them. Absolutely.
Absolutely. I love that. And then, so as you think about some of the things, maybe you have an example of something that you've heard from a person that you brought onto your team, and then how did you adapt the system to work better for that person? If they had like a different culture, if they had a different, some scenario that had them to bring difference, right, to the table. What did you do to adapt?
Okay. So I have a team across the world, so various different countries, and every country is so different. Just the language is different. Different ways that people talk to each other. What might seem abrupt and harsh to someone is just normal conversation. It's just being aware. And sometimes you need to have conversations with people to help others in the team perhaps understand a communication that's going on or not going on in sidelines or across the team in general. But I think for me something that stands out is just having that understanding. I mentioned it earlier, just particularly on the religious side, where I have people in my team who do need to have that time to do what they want to do, and just having that respect, and therefore just never expecting them to work, to put that to one side, never expecting that to become, for their business to become a priority over their beliefs or their cultural background, whatever that is. It's just, again, it's just human dignity, respect, and treating people, the way that you'd want to be treated. That's all it is. I would never, everyone's different as well, not just from a cultural point of view, but the way we work, the way we think, the way we have the kind of ambition that we have as well, when we're all so different. That has definitely been a lesson that I've learned. I'm a real go getter. I want to achieve a lot, but I understand that not everyone is like that. Some people just want to come into this industry and, earn a little bit of pocket money and some money to go out with girlfriends at the weekend or treat their kids to something. But it's, you have to be respectful of what people want. And that's why I have this onboarding thing in place, which I definitely recommend, so that you get to know people from the start, what they want out of the business, who they are, and you get to know them. And then from there, you can work together.
So this is good. Okay. So when we think about this idea of being a leader, right? And you're coming in and you kind of want everybody, that there's so much opportunity in network marketing. There's so far that people can go. There's so much freedom. And then people don't want that. How do you as a leader kind of manage your feelings around that and not get frustrated, right? When there's people that aren't going to go as hard as you, and how do you remain inclusive when you have all of these different personalities and you've got to figure out how do I make sure that they still feel included on the team, even though they may not have the same work style or they don't have the same drive for this particular industry. as you do?
Yeah, sure. There's a couple of things on this. So firstly, you are building a community. That's how people are going to stay. So you are building a community which is inclusive. Whether that includes not just the diversity, the cultural backgrounds, but it includes, as you just said, how people work. So, you know, statistically, the majority of people in network marketing are what we call walkers. You know, they don't want to necessarily build a huge global empire. And I always say that when I'm speaking to my prospects or new team members, just because that's my ambition, it doesn't mean it has to be the same for you. So we just make sure that you are welcome and you're part of a community. And that's what will help people stay. Now, I have so many people in my team who really just want the discount. They want, they want to be part of something that makes them feel seen. They feel valued. They can contribute. That's another thing. I make sure people in the team contribute. So I don't try and do everything. I involve everybody. I'm very much an equal. I want to make sure that people have things to do that are based on their skills. If they're particularly good on spreadsheets or making canvas or something, I'll ask them. They feel so valued. They don't have to, but I invite them to. And the other thing is that learning over time that not everyone is going to be like you, but it doesn't mean that people cannot change. So sometimes people will come in and say, no, I'm just happy at this sort of level of expectation, level of work. They catch the vision and then they see what's possible. And it's about allowing that to happen as well. So things can change. And I always put an ace on people's head. I always say that. So when people come in, I put an ace on their head, like the ace playing card. It's, let's give them that benefit of the doubt. They are going to be an ace in the pack. They might not show it straight away, but let's wait and see what happens. And if it doesn't, that's fine. But I kind of have patience with it and then just, see if they do see the potential over time. And then you never know, that might change. But in the meantime, you have to just stay patient and you understand that the majority of people will not be wanting to take over the world and hit the top ranks because for various reasons, it's just not the way it's going to be in this industry.
Yeah. Okay. So I love to give our community really actionable steps. Okay. So let's think about this person who is a business owner. They're in network marketing. Their network is small. They feel stuck. They want to be a more inclusive networker. What are some things that they can do? Like steps. What do we do first, right? Because this is overwhelming, right? So a lot of times people are thinking, I want to build a diverse team. I want to build a big team, but I don't even know where to start. So when you think about 3 things that we can give the community that would help them to start this process and really be able to build that big, diverse network of customers and team members, what are those types of things that they can do now?
I'd say education. Like number one, you have to go and educate yourself on any areas that you don't understand. And then you have to go out and network. I mean, we are networkers. You have to go out and meet the people, make a conscious effort. If your values are very much about having a diverse team, and I think, I just want everyone to have a diverse team. I want everyone to be so inclusive because there's too much exclusion in this world. Go out and network deliberately with those communities where you feel I can help. I can really go and help people in that community to feel seen, to feel valued, to feel heard, and bring them into the team, talk to them. But it is about diving into communities through education. I think that's really what I would say. I don't know if I can give 3 things, but I think that's the core of everything. It is all about understanding and being open, like I said, to treating people like people and being open to respecting people's lifestyles and cultural backgrounds for sure.
So when you think about the process then of networking, like you were just saying, and doing that online, what are some things that you recommend to people to start getting into diverse networks or networking with more diversity in general?
So growing your audience, you can choose which areas you want to kind of grow in. I always teach my coaching clients and in my courses and things, and my team as well, that you've got to start thinking of your social media you've got to stop thinking about it as being a page for selling, and you have to start thinking about it as being a place where you're building connections. Mm-hmm. And that means giving content that's of value to people. And it's not about posting your products on your page at all. It's about finding your needs. It's about finding what problems your audience or your ideal client have. And then it's about solving their problems, educating them, inspiring them, helping them, showing them what's possible through the posts that you make, through the reels, whatever content that you create. And from that, you are becoming, you're positioning yourself as an authority, as a voice of someone who knows something about whatever you're talking about. And you don't have to be an expert. You don't have to have like 1 million degrees. You just need to be a few steps ahead from the people that are watching you and being able to give them some sort of value and advice and education. So you can start conversations from there. So you could go out in that case and really kind of, you know, in the same way as you would network in person, network online with different diverse communities, and think about the way that perhaps what you are angling at with your social media, if you are an expertise or position yourself as an expert in a certain area, perhaps think about how that might be of value to different communities. So that's perhaps something I need to take away, perhaps inspiration as well, to just really kind of consciously think about that. So
Yeah, and I think I love that you just said that, because we're all growing, right? None of us have arrived in this area, and we all need to open our mindsets, because a lot of times we're so much in our own bubble that we don't even think about these things, right? We're like, I mean, I just
go, and don't stop to think. I know.
Yeah, and the world is so big, and when we think about the amount of diverse communities there are out there, and if we're only tapping into one network, we are losing so much. Not just money, right? We're losing so much ability to just build bigger teams and to work with other people, because now people are craving diversity, right? They are wanting to see the whole story and not just one story, right? And so I think it's so important for us to, especially in network marketing, to start to think about this. If you want to build networks, then what is it that you're doing within yourself, and what are you attracting, right? Because I always think about that. And so I think that it's really impossible to attract diversity if we're not being inclusive ourselves, right? And so
you're so right. Yeah, it's about the richness of your life experience, isn't it? And I've loved having a team full of people that I would never, ever have met if I hadn't been doing my business. You know, people from all different backgrounds, different beliefs, or genders. It's kind of, it's opened my eyes to so much. It's educated me so much. And, I would have hated to have not had that experience. So absolutely, like, I love what you're doing. I love that you're encouraging this, because it is so important, and it makes our lives so much more interesting, so much more rewarding, and it allows us to be better people, because we're going out with a bigger understanding of humans, of people.
Yeah, absolutely. So, Helen, I have loved this conversation. Oh, goodness, you are amazing.
Me too.
So tell me, what is your next big project? We have got to plug into the Inclusive Networker audience. What are you doing next? Tell us what we are going to plug into.
So, it's my life has always been about really kind of helping the small person being seen. So this is why I was yes straight away when you asked me to do this podcast. It is about empowering women. My next project, like I said at the top of the show, it is about really changing this industry. And this is, what you're doing, I think, is changing the industry as well. I love it. My next big project is my course. I've got a huge course coming up at the start of next year, the 6-figure fast track program, which is all about the social media, the content, growing your audience, lead magnets, email funnels, helping people to have multiple streams of income. But I'm just on a mission to really change things, and that's my project for the foreseeable future. But yeah, I'm just really glad to be part of this as well, and that, you know, to have connected with you. It's so in line with what I'm trying to do as well.
Amazing. Well, thank you so much, Inclusive Networker audience. Yes. And thank you, Helen. Thank you all so much for listening to this episode of The Inclusive Networker. And thank you to my fabulous guest, Helen Thacker. You will find her information in the show notes, and we will see you on the next episode of The Inclusive Networker. Bye.
Thank you so much for listening to this episode of The Inclusive Networker. You can find out all the information for our fabulous guest today in the show notes. But don't forget to subscribe to the Inclusive Networker podcast and to look out for a new episode each week on YouTube and wherever you enjoy your podcast. This is your host, Dr. Raymona. And as always, remember, I see you and I'm cheering you on. And I dare you to defy limits. See you on the next episode of The Inclusive Networker.